Hey guys, Hypnosis here. I'm going to do another enemy. I'm going to go real fast on this one. I wanted to say, someone asked what kind of tablet I'm using. I'm using a Cintiq 21UX. It's old, it's heavy, it's beat up. I have a newer one, but I keep coming back to this one. I don't know if I'm just used to it or what, because the other one's higher resolution and more sensitive, but I just really like this one, so that's what I'm using. Alright, I've scanned the enemy in. I drew him in pieces. This is going to be a plant monster. These nebulous type characters, I usually draw a couple body parts and then repeat the body parts to get them done quicker. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and color it. I already did a tutorial on coloring. I'm going to color it the same way. Flood fill the parts, cell shade it. Then I'll turn the camera back on when I get done coloring it and show you how I piece it together quickly, and then it'll be done. This one should be short. All right. I was doing a little cleaning up, and one thing I wanted to show that I talked about previously is I made a mistake when I was inking this. I accidentally drew the line through the tongue here. And I was just going to show you that to remind myself that it needed to be fixed. See, the tongue goes through here, but I accidentally drew the line through here. I drew this little arrow here that stands out. So whenever I'm working on it, I'll see this arrow, and I leave the arrow until I fix the problem. So I'm going to fix the problem. Alright, fixed it with a hard edge brush. Then I can erase that arrow, and I'm good to go. I just want to show you guys how I did that. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but that's how I always try to remember little mistakes, because if I don't do it, I'll forget the mistake was there and leave it until I'm done. So, alright, I've got some colors on it. About finished here. Just putting a few little final touches here. This plant comes from a cold area, so I decided to go with kind of a bluish color to it, just to send that message on along. I know that just because a plant's in a cold area doesn't necessarily mean it has to be blue, but it's kind of shorthand, so I'm going to put just a little highlight on this little rim light on this tendril here, on these leaves. Just kind of makes it's a real quick way to make it look a little more 3D, using just a dull blue. There's not any real rim light in the there's no real light source at all because of the way the fights are set up. They're kind of generic, so sort of faking it. While I'm thinking about it, maybe I should put some stripes on these leaves. I'll do that real quick. I'm just patching some white spots here real fast that I accidentally deleted. What I'm doing is I made a layer behind this one where those white spots were at. I shouldn't have let them get deleted in the first place, but I'm filling it in with an obnoxious color I can see because I used white a few times there. Then I'm going to lock the layer over here on the right. Then I'm going to go select, deselect. I'm going to make white my primary color. I'm going to go to edit and fill that magenta color, that obnoxious color white, and now it's fixed. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to add some stripes. If you hold control and you click a layer, it'll select everything in that layer. So like, I have this negative space here, and I want to select all of this without selecting that negative space. Hold control, click that layer, and it'll select it for me. Then I can make a new layer and draw, and it'll be as if I'm drawing inside of it. When I make these stripes, I'm trying to follow the shape of the leaf. And the leaves aren't totally flat. Alright. I'm being real quick on this. I want to get this done quick. I got a lot to do today. I've got to do a snowy background. I've got to do a snowy environment. Some tile sets. I've got to draw a hot air balloon. I've got all kinds of stuff I got to do today. I took a day off and I let myself get behind, I guess. These are going to be very subtle because these repeated, I'm going to repeat a lot of these leaves, and repeated patterns will make it easier to tell that they're repeated. So I'm going to make them super subtle, hope they just add a little bit without taking too much away. So without giving too much away, rather. All right. Let's see here. There we go. I'm doing overlay. Set that at about 50. There we go. Real subtle. Hopefully subtle enough. All right. Save real quick. All right. This is a background. This is not the background he's going to be on. He's actually going to be in a cave background, like a frozen cave, but it's the one I've got open, so it's the one I'm going to use. Let's start by building our way forward. So we're going to... The most important thing when we're doing this is to try to remember not to create any tangents. So let's select that piece, paste it in, resize it down. Let's do one tall one in the back. I'm doing all of this with transform. Alright, let's combine these three. Move them down here a little bit. Let's make them a little darker and a little more blue. Gonna go to adjustments, hue and saturation. Darkness down just a hair. Do colorize, turn saturation up, find a cool blue. There we go. Say OK. I made a second layer for that. I forgot to mention. Say second layer. I made the second layer blue. And I am just going to set that to 50 on the opacity on that second layer. Merge them together. And that should be good for the background. Let's throw one in the foreground. One more tendril. Flip this one here. And you'll notice I'm making them start at the same point here, and I'm trying not to make them... It's okay if they overlap, but you want them to... You want it to be clear that they're two different vines. Alright, let's throw some leaves on here. I'm trying to make the leaves look like they're different leaves. Alright, I thought it'd be cool if it'd have some berries on there. Let's go ahead and throw the head on there. We'll work around this head. So I'm going to put this head here, right in the center. We'll position it like I want. And then I'm gonna put all my other layers under it. So let's use this to give it a neck. Cut that excess off there. Put some leaves coming out of the base here. Put some berries. Thought that would look really cool. It's not something you see on evil carnivorous plants very often today. Alright, I don't think that looks too shabby. Don't need this anymore. Let's merge this. I'm gonna reduce it just slightly. Duplicate the layer, sharpen it up a hair. Put that at about 30. Then we're gonna throw a shadow on it. We're using black for the shadow here, just because it's just kind of a basic ground shadow. I'm just sort of outlining it, imagining the light source to be at the top. Edit, fill, deselect, select, deselect. Then going to blur, Gaussian blur, putting that at about 3, setting that to 50. I'm gonna adjust it just a hair here. Set it about 40, that looks awful dark. Combine those two layers, and there we go. We got us a monster. Let's see if we can see what it looks like on another background. Alright, open another background. Let's move it over there, see how it looks there. Not too bad, and it went pretty quick. I say I'd made this entire guy, this entire enemy, in about 35 minutes, maybe 40, counting the drawing and inking and stuff. Alright, thank you very much. That's all.